The vast expanse of space hummed with silent anticipation when the first transmission arrived. It was a crisp Tuesday morning in Seoul, and the research center buzzed with the usual quiet energy of scientific exploration. Jay Park sat at his workstation, his fingers hovering over the holographic display. The message from the Alien Confederation flickered into existence, a translucent blue projection that filled the room with an eerie glow. His colleagues gathered around, their breath collective, and still, the transmission was not what anyone expected. It was a warning, cold, calculated, and dripping with technological arrogance. The Alien Confederation, known as the Galactic Overseer, had been monitoring Earth for decades. They believed humans were nothing more than a primitive species confined to a single planet, barely capable of understanding their own technological limitations. "You are advised to remain within your solar system," the message read. "Any attempt at interstellar exploration will be considered a direct violation of Galactic Confederation protocols. Consequences will be severe." Yuna Kim, the quantum communications expert, studied the transmission with intense concentration. Her fingers moved quickly, breaking down the complex alien language into digestible computational data. Something about the message felt wrong, not just in its content, but in its underlying assumptions. "They're underestimating us," she whispered, to Jay, who nodded silently. The research center was a hub of diverse talents. Engineers, physicists, mathematicians, and strategic analysts worked in perfect synchronization. This was not just a scientific facility. It was humanity's first line of defense against potential extraterrestrial threats. Dong-hyuk Lee, head of military strategic research, reviewed the transmission's technical specifications. His team had been preparing for potential alien contact for years, developing adaptive systems that could respond to unknown technological challenges. "We need to analyze every single byte of this transmission," Dong-hyuk announced to his team. Young researchers around him began running complex algorithms, breaking down the alien communication into its most basic components. Outside the research center, the world continued its normal rhythm. People walked city streets, unaware that humanity had just received its first official communication from an advanced alien civilization. The message was not an invitation to dialogue, but a stern warning to stay isolated. Seo Yeon-han, the propulsion engineering lead, saw the transmission as an opportunity. Where others might have seen threat, she saw potential. Her recent breakthroughs in quantum propulsion technology suddenly seemed more relevant than ever. The Alien Confederation had made a critical mistake. By sending a warning, they had underestimated human curiosity, resilience, and capacity for rapid technological innovation. What they perceived as a primitive species was actually a civilization on the brink of a massive technological leap. Jay Park understood this better than anyone. He had spent years studying potential scenarios of extraterrestrial contact. The transmission was not just a message, it was a challenge, and humanity was about to prove that challenges were something they excelled at overcoming. The research center transformed overnight. What was once a collaborative scientific environment became a focused, strategic operation. Every resource, every brilliant mind was now directed towards understanding the alien transmission and preparing for potential future interactions. Yuna's initial analysis revealed complex quantum encryption techniques embedded within the message. These were far more sophisticated than any human communication system, yet she was already developing methods to decode and understand them. Dong-hyuk's military research teams began simulating potential conflict scenarios. They created advanced AI models that could predict and counter unknown alien warfare tactics. Each simulation pushed the boundaries of human strategic thinking. The global scientific community became united in a way never seen before. Competitive barriers dissolved as researchers from different countries shared data, insights, and technological developments. The alien transmission had done what no previous global initiative could: create true, seamless international cooperation. As days passed, the initial shock of the transmission transformed into determined preparation. Humanity was not going to be told where it could or could not go. The universe was vast, and they were ready to explore it. The alien confederation had intended to intimidate. Instead, they had awakened a sleeping giant, a species with an unbreakable spirit of exploration, innovation, and resilience. J. Park looked at his team, seeing not just colleagues but the vanguard of human potential. They would decode the message, they would understand the technology, and they would prove that no external force could limit human ambition. The first contact had begun, and humanity was ready. The weeks following the alien transmission became a blur of intense scientific activity. Every research center, university, and government facility focused on a single goal: accelerating human technological capabilities beyond anything previously imagined. Una Kim's quantum communication research took an unexpected leap. What once seemed like theoretical concepts now became practical applications. She developed a new communication protocol that could compress massive amounts of data into microscopic quantum signals. Traditional communication methods, suddenly, looked like ancient technology. Dong-Yuk Lee's military research team worked around the clock. They created adaptive AI systems that could learn and respond to complex threats in milliseconds. These weren't just computer programs, they were intelligent systems capable of strategic thinking that rivaled human intelligence. The global economy shifted dramatically. Countries that were once economic competitors now pooled resources. Massive funding streams redirected from consumer technologies to space exploration and defensive research. Governments understood that survival might depend on technological superiority. Seo-Yeon Han's breakthrough in quantum propulsion was perhaps the most remarkable development. Her team discovered a way to manipulate quantum entanglement to create near-instantaneous movement across vast distances. What scientists had considered impossible became a working prototype within months. Universities transformed overnight. Traditional research programs were replaced with intensive, focused projects. Young scientists worked alongside veteran researchers, their combined knowledge creating innovations that defied previous limitations. The age of slow, incremental progress was over. In a small laboratory in Busan, a team of young engineers developed adaptive material technology. These new materials could change their molecular structure in response to environmental challenges. A single material could become stronger than steel or as flexible as rubber, depending on the required function. The global scientific community shared everything. Competitive barriers dissolved. Research papers that would have taken years to publish now circulated within hours. Every breakthrough was immediately analyzed, improved, and integrated into larger technological frameworks. J. Park coordinated these efforts from the Central Research Hub in Seoul. He understood that this was more than just technological development. This was humanity's response to an external challenge, a collective effort to prove their worth to the universe. International space agencies merged their resources. What was once separate national programs became a unified human space exploration initiative. Funding that previously went into individual country missions now supported a comprehensive global strategy. The military began integrating new technologies at an unprecedented rate. Defensive systems that could adapt to unknown threats were developed. These weren't just weapons, but intelligent protective mechanisms that could analyze and respond to potential dangers in real time. Communication networks transformed. A new global internet emerged, powered by quantum communication technologies. Information could now be transmitted across continents in fractions of a second, with encryption levels that made previous security methods look primitive. Energy production saw revolutionary changes. Researchers developed compact fusion reactors that could provide clean, unlimited energy. Cities began transforming their infrastructure, replacing old power systems with these new, efficient technologies. Medical research accelerated alongside technological developments. New understanding of quantum biology allowed for treatments that could repair cellular damage, potentially extending human lifespans and improving overall health. Robotics entered a new era. Adaptive machines that could learn and modify their own programming became a reality. These weren't just tools, but intelligent assistants capable of complex problem-solving and collaborative work. The transformation wasn't just technological. Human perspective changed. People began to see themselves not as isolated inhabitants of a small planet, but as a species preparing for potential interstellar challenges. Educational systems were completely redesigned. Schools and universities introduced comprehensive programs focusing on adaptive thinking, technological innovation, and strategic planning. The next generation was being prepared for a universe full of unknown challenges. Satellite networks expanded, creating a comprehensive monitoring system that could track potential extraterrestrial activities. Every piece of space debris, every unusual signal, became a potential source of critical information. Within 3 years, humanity had transformed more than in the previous 3 decades. The alien transmission had become a catalyst for unprecedented global cooperation and technological innovation. J. Park watched the progress with a sense of quiet determination. The alien confederation had intended to intimidate. Instead, they had unleashed humanity's most powerful resource, its collective intelligence and unwavering spirit of exploration. The technological acceleration was more than a scientific achievement. It was a statement. Humanity was ready. Whatever challenges the universe might present, they would be met with innovation, courage, and an unbreakable will to succeed. The star systems surrounding Earth became humanity's new playground of exploration. Silent probes powered by Soyun Han's quantum propulsion technology moved like invisible ghosts through unexplored regions of space. These probes were unlike anything previously developed. They could adapt, learn, and transmit information using quantum communication networks that made traditional radio signals look prehistoric. Each probe was essentially a miniature intelligent system, capable of making independent decisions based on encountered data. J. Park's strategic models had predicted potential scenarios with remarkable accuracy. The research teams had developed multiple contingency plans, each more sophisticated than traditional military strategies. They weren't just preparing for potential conflict, they were creating comprehensive response frameworks for unknown challenges. UNA, Kim's quantum communication network, allowed these probes to transmit information instantaneously. A probe exploring a distant star system could send complex data back to Earth faster than humans could blink. The amount of information gathered was exponential compared to previous space exploration efforts. The Alien Confederation, continuously monitoring human activities, began receiving increasingly complex and unexpected data streams. Their initial assessment of humans as a primitive species started to crumble with each transmitted probe report. Dong-Hyuk Lee's military research had created adaptive AI systems that could simulate millions of potential conflict scenarios every second. These weren't simple computational models, but complex intelligent systems that could predict and counter potential alien warfare tactics with unprecedented precision. Soyun Han's propulsion technology allowed human probes to move through space in ways that defied traditional understanding of physics. They could change direction instantaneously, move through asteroid fields without damage, and navigate complex gravitational environments with ease. The global scientific community had transformed into a unified, dynamic organism. Researchers from different countries worked together, sharing information in real time. Competitive barriers had completely dissolved, replaced by a collective understanding that humanity's survival might depend on their collaborative efforts. Satellite networks expanded, creating a comprehensive monitoring system that tracked potential extraterrestrial activities. Every unusual signal, every piece of space debris became a potential source of critical information. The Human Observation Network had become more sophisticated than any previous space monitoring system. Young scientists, trained in adaptive thinking and comprehensive strategic planning, brought fresh perspectives to space exploration. They weren't limited by traditional scientific boundaries. For them, the impossible was simply a challenge waiting to be solved. The Alien Confederation's monitoring system started receiving increasingly complex data about human technological capabilities. What they had initially considered a primitive species was rapidly becoming an unpredictable, technologically advanced civilization. Quantum computing had reached levels that allowed for near instantaneous problem-solving. Complex mathematical calculations that would have taken traditional computers years could now be completed in seconds. This computational power translated directly into technological innovation. Medical research had also advanced dramatically. New treatments could repair cellular damage, potentially extending human lifespans. Humans were becoming more resilient, more adaptable, not just technologically but biologically. The probes continued their silent exploration. They moved through star systems, gathering information, adapting to unknown environments, and transmitting data back to Earth. Each probe was a testament to human ingenuity. Small, intelligent machines representing humanity's expanding reach. Energy production had been revolutionized. Compact fusion reactors provided clean, unlimited power. Cities transformed their infrastructure, becoming more efficient, more sustainable. The energy crisis that had plagued previous generations became a distant memory. Robotics entered a new era of intelligent assistance. These weren't just machines, but collaborative partners capable of complex problem-solving. They worked alongside humans, enhancing capabilities rather than replacing human intelligence. The Alien Confederation's initial warning had become a catalyst for humanity's most significant technological leap. What was meant to intimidate had instead unleashed an unprecedented wave of innovation and collaborative effort. J. Park understood the deeper significance of these developments. This wasn't just about technological advancement. It was about humanity's collective spirit, the ability to unite, adapt, and overcome challenges that seemed insurmountable. As human probes continued their silent exploration, the message was clear. Humanity was no longer confined. They were ready to explore, to challenge, and to prove their worth in a vast unknown universe. The unexpected preparedness had begun, and the universe would soon understand the true potential of human innovation. The first alien warships appeared, at the edge of the solar system without warning. Massive metallic structures that dwarfed human expectations, they moved with a confidence born of centuries of galactic domination. Dong-hyuk Lee watched the initial sensor readings with calm concentration. The military command center in Seoul buzzed with controlled energy. Years of preparation had led to this moment. Every system was ready, every strategy calculated with precision. Yoona Kim's quantum communication network immediately began analyzing the alien vessel's technological signatures. Complex algorithms processed information faster than human perception could comprehend. Within minutes, they had mapped potential weaknesses in the alien ship's defensive systems. The Alien Confederation believed this would be a simple subjugation. Their initial transmission had been a warning. Now they came to enforce that warning with overwhelming military force. They expected surrender, submission, or quick destruction. They were wrong. Seoyeon Han's adaptive defense platforms activated, simultaneously across multiple strategic points. These weren't traditional weapon systems, but intelligent defensive networks that could predict, counter, and neutralize threats in milliseconds. The first wave of alien attack drones approached Earth's orbital defense line. They expected minimal resistance. Instead, they encountered a technological nightmare. Human defense systems adapted to each incoming attack faster than the aliens could modify their strategies. Quantum-powered defense shields flickered into existence. These weren't simple energy barriers, but complex adaptive systems that could change molecular structure instantaneously. Alien weapons that should have destroyed entire defense platforms simply dissipated upon contact. J. Park watched the battle unfold through multiple holographic displays. Each alien attack was anticipated, countered, and neutralized with mathematical precision. The human response was so efficient it almost seemed choreographed. Adaptive AI combat systems, developed over years of strategic research, controlled defense platforms. These weren't simple programmed responses, but intelligent systems that could learn and modify strategies in real time. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that evolved faster than they could attack. The Alien Confederation had believed humans were technologically inferior. They discovered a civilization that had transformed technological limitations into unprecedented strengths. Every attack was met with a response more sophisticated than the previous one. Satellite networks transformed into weapon platforms. Quantum-powered laser systems could target and neutralize alien vessels with pinpoint accuracy. The space around Earth became a complex battlefield, where human technology demonstrated its true potential. Communication intercepts revealed growing panic within the alien fleet. Their tactical systems couldn't predict human responses. Every strategy they attempted was neutralized before it could be fully implemented. Drone swarms launched from human defense platforms moved like intelligent organisms. They weren't simple mechanical devices, but adaptive systems that could think, learn, and coordinate with unprecedented efficiency. The alien fleet found itself surrounded by a technological intelligence it couldn't comprehend. Orbital defense platforms used adaptive materials that could change molecular structure instantaneously. Alien weapons that should have destroyed entire systems simply disappeared upon contact. The human defensive technology was so advanced it seemed almost magical. The battle lasted less than 3 hours. When it ended, the alien invasion fleet had been completely destroyed. Not a single human life was lost. The confrontation became a demonstration of technological superiority that would be remembered throughout the galaxy. Dong-Hyuk Lee's final report was simple and direct. Invasion, attempt neutralized. Defensive systems performed at 100% efficiency. The global communication networks buzzed with the news. Humanity had not just defended itself. It had demonstrated a level of technological innovation that completely reshaped understanding of interstellar conflict. J. Park allowed himself a small smile. The Alien Confederation's initial warning had become their greatest mistake. They had underestimated humanity's capacity for innovation, adaptation, and collective technological achievement. As debris from the alien fleet drifted through space, a clear message emerged. Humanity was no longer a species to be warned or controlled. They were a technological force that would define the future of galactic exploration. The confrontation was over. The universe had just met humanity, and nothing would ever be the same again. The destruction of the alien invasion fleet sent shockwaves through the galactic community. Civilizations that had watched from a distance now understood that humanity was no ordinary species. J. Park stood in the Global Strategic Command Center, watching holographic displays that tracked the aftermath of the confrontation. The universe had changed, and humanity was at the center of that transformation. Diplomatic communications from various alien civilizations began flooding Earth's quantum communication networks. Some expressed fear, others curiosity, and a few showed a tentative desire for understanding. The balance of galactic power had shifted dramatically in a matter of hours. Yuna Kim analyzed these incoming transmissions. Each message was a complex puzzle of cultural and technological communication. Her team worked tirelessly to decode and understand the nuanced communications from different alien societies. The human counteroffensive was not about destruction, but strategic demonstration. Precise strikes disabled key alien Confederation infrastructure without unnecessary damage. It was a surgical display of technological superiority that spoke louder than any weapon. Dong-Hyuk Lee's military strategic teams began developing comprehensive galactic engagement protocols. These weren't traditional military strategies, but complex adaptive frameworks that could respond to unknown diplomatic and technological challenges. Seo Yun-han's research teams started developing long-range exploration technologies. Humanity was no longer content to wait and be warned. They would explore, understand, and engage with the universe on their own terms. Other galactic civilizations watched in stunned silence. The Alien Confederation, a power that had dominated interstellar politics for centuries, had been completely dismantled by a species they had considered primitive. Communication networks across the galaxy buzzed with the news. Humanity had not just defended itself. They had fundamentally changed the understanding of technological potential. Every alien civilization now recognized humans as a significant galactic force. The final transmission to the remaining alien leadership was simple and direct. We warned you to stay far, far away, became a message that would be remembered throughout galactic history. Research centers around Earth became focal points of interstellar interest. Scientists from various alien civilizations requested communication, hoping to understand the technological leap that had so dramatically changed galactic dynamics. Quantum communication networks expanded. Humanity began building sophisticated diplomatic and scientific platforms that could engage with multiple alien civilizations simultaneously. The isolation was over. A new era of galactic exploration had begun. Military research teams developed adaptive diplomatic protocols. These weren't just communication strategies, but complex systems that could understand and respond to diverse cultural and technological approaches. Educational systems transformed to prepare new generations for interstellar engagement. Young, humans were now trained not just in scientific and technological skills, but in comprehensive galactic communication and cultural understanding. Space exploration programs accelerated. Humanity was no longer confined to a single solar system. Quantum propulsion technologies allowed for exploration of distant star systems with unprecedented speed and efficiency. The economic impact was immediate. Global industries redirected resources toward space exploration, diplomatic engagement, and technological innovation. The entire human civilization had been fundamentally transformed by the confrontation. Alien civilizations that had previously ignored or underestimated, humans now sought diplomatic and technological exchanges. Research collaborations, cultural dialogues, and scientific partnerships began to emerge. J. Park understood the deeper significance of this moment. This wasn't just a military victory. It was a demonstration of human potential, the ability to adapt, innovate, and rise above limitations. The galactic community had been recalibrated. Humanity was no longer a footnote in interstellar history. They had become a primary author of the universe's future narrative. As new exploration vessels prepared for distant star systems, a sense of collective excitement spread across Earth. The universe was no longer something to be feared, but a vast canvas of potential waiting to be explored. The Alien Confederation's warning had backfired spectacularly. Instead of limiting humanity, they had unleashed a species with an unbreakable spirit of exploration, innovation, and determination. Humanity had arrived on the galactic stage, and they were here to stay.